Sunbeams danced on fields of golden wheat. A young girl, Grace, skipped through them. Her laughter echoed in the gentle breeze.
Hello, God!
Grace possessed a secret. She talked to God. Not in a church, not on her knees, but in the rustling leaves and babbling brooks. He whispered to her heart, and she, with the innocence of youth, understood.
Daddy's going to lose his job.
She murmured, her brow furrowed with concern. At the dinner table, Grace shared her conversation with God. Her parents, Sarah and David, exchanged uneasy glances. They loved their daughter, her vibrant spirit, but this was different.
Sweetheart, God speaks to us in different ways. Maybe you just heard something on the wind.
Don't worry about Daddy's job, it's going to be all right.
He tried to sound reassuring, but a knot of worry tightened in his chest. Grace, sensing their disbelief, bowed her head. She knew what she heard. She just didn't understand why they wouldn't believe her. Days turned into weeks. The sky, once a brilliant blue, became shrouded in ominous gray clouds. The wind howled, whipping the trees into a frenzy. It was as if nature itself mirrored the turmoil brewing within the small family.
The storm is coming.
She whispered, her eyes wide with apprehension. She felt God's warning, a palpable presence in the air. David, laid off from his job that very day, stared out the window. He couldn't shake off Grace's words, the uncanny timing of the storm mirroring her predictions. Could she be right? He looked down at his daughter, her small hand clutching his. A flicker of something unfamiliar sparked in his heart. Could it be faith? David struggled. He loved his family, but the weight of unemployment pressed down on him. He prayed, something he hadn't done in years. His prayers were filled with doubt, with anger, with a desperate plea for a miracle. One evening he found Grace asleep, her small hands clasped in prayer. He knelt beside her, tears welling up in his eyes. He didn't understand it, this gift of hers, but he couldn't deny the purity of her faith.
God, I don't know if you're listening, but please help us.
It was the first time he truly believed someone might be listening.
News of Grace's gift reached David's parents, John and Mary. They arrived at the farmhouse, their faces etched with concern, but their eyes twinkling with a knowing glint.
Faith is a gift, David. Don't push it away.
They listened to Grace, their hearts filled with wonder. They saw in her the innocence, the pure connection to something beyond themselves, that they had almost forgotten.
With the unwavering support of his parents and the growing belief in his heart, David began to see the world through Grace's eyes. He saw the beauty in the simplest things, the hand of God in the changing seasons, the whisper of hope in the rustling leaves.
He encouraged Grace to embrace her gift, to share her conversations with God, not with fear of judgment, but with the joy of a child sharing a cherished secret. The storm clouds began to part. A glimmer of hope, like the first rays of dawn, peeked through the darkness.
One morning, David received a phone call. It was a job offer, unexpected but perfectly suited to his skills. He stared at the phone, his hand trembling. Could this be the answer to their prayers?
God told me.
David sank to his knees, tears streaming down his face. He understood now. He believed. The whispers of heaven had reached them, guiding them through the storm, leading them to this moment of grace. The family gathered in the wheat field, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. They formed a circle, hands clasped, their hearts overflowing with gratitude. They had weathered the storm, their faith tested, their bonds strengthened.
They had learned that even in the darkest of times, the whispers of heaven could guide them, if only they had the faith to listen.
As the last rays of sunlight faded, they looked up at the star-studded sky. They knew, with an unshakable certainty, that they were not alone. They were loved. They were guided. They were a family, bound by faith, forever touched by the whispers of heaven.